Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
And first at 10, parents of a baby are facing charges in connection to her death. Court documents detail the alarming conditions found inside the home. Plus a challenge coming down this week from Sikorsky, a major employer here in Connecticut, over a military contract they lost this year. State leaders are now responding to concerns about Sikorsky's future in Stratford. And a look ahead at what to expect on Connecticut roads this holiday weekend. State police are stepping up enforcement. And thanks so much for joining us here on the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Sarah Sanchez. Our top story tonight is a second arrest made in connection to the death of a baby in Salem. The 1-year-old died back in February, but tonight we're learning new details about what investigators found inside the home and how that led to the little girl's death. We do want to warn you, though, some of those details may be disturbing. Here's Fox 61's Gabby Molina.
A 1-year-old baby girl died after being exposed to fentanyl in her home in Salem earlier this year. Now both of her parents are facing charges in connection to her death. 37-year-old Travis Schubel was arrested Wednesday, charged with second-degree manslaughter, risk of injury to a child, possession of a controlled substance, and use of drug paraphernalia. The baby's mother, 28-year-old Ricky Thomas, was arrested in November and is facing the same charges. The arrest warrant for Schubel details what investigators found inside the house. Emergency crews responded to the home on the morning of February 8th for a 911 call that the baby was unresponsive. She was pronounced dead at the hospital less than an hour later. When police arrived at the home, they found a used Narcan cartridge under the baby's pack and play where she was sleeping. They also found multiple capped and uncapped needles, numerous yellow glassine baggies, small yellow bands, and a pink and white pill in capsule form. Detectives from Eastern District Major Crime executed a search warrant of the home and found conditions described as deplorable. According to the arrest warrant, in the living room, there was stained furniture, a yogurt container with flies, a used diaper on the floor, and a full nip bottle without a cap. The bedroom where the baby slept was in a similar condition. The Department of Children and Families had case records on the family after Thomas had raised concerns about Schubel's drug use. In a statement, DCF said the child came to the agency's attention in August of 2021 and, quote, since that time, the family received supports from DCF and community providers, were visible to agency personnel, and household members were engaged in a plan to ensure the safety of both children in the home. Our last contact with the family was less than a week prior to the child's death. The baby's death was ruled a homicide and found she died from acute intoxication of fentanyl and xylazine. The Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services says it's working in partnership with DCF to raise awareness of the dangers of children accidentally ingesting fentanyl. Reporting in Salem, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.
All right, it's time now to get a look at that forecast. Meteorologist Ryan Breton joining us now with our first look. A little chilly out there tonight, Ryan, but overall not too bad today.
Yeah, Sarah, and tonight will be one of the cooler nights of the next several. We have a really warm stretch on the way. This is a look at the next 7 days. Average high this time of the year is 37, and we will be way above that. A January thaw or late December thaw out there for sure in place. 30 right now in Meriden. It is down to 32 in New Haven and 36 in Hartford, so there's a little bit of a chill in the air tonight, but it's nothing that we can't handle for this time of the year. Nice and clear all across the Northeast, but that will not last. There is some rain in the middle of the country that will catch up with us for New Year's Eve. So overnight, temperatures won't drop a whole lot more from here. Low temperatures generally in the 30s. For tomorrow, we'll start out with temperatures in the 30s and make our way into the 50s. A mostly sunny to partly cloudy sky. A very mild day tomorrow with high temperatures across the state into the 50s. Now, over the weekend, it stays mild, but that mild air is going to come with some rain, and it looks like most of that rain will fall during New Year's Eve. So if you have plans to be out and about Saturday night, that's something to consider. And I'll be back to go through the timeline. We'll talk more about the warmth, too, in just a little while. Sarah?
Thank you, Ryan. To East Haven now, a follow-up on a breaking news story we brought you last night. Police have named the pedestrian who was struck and killed while crossing a road last night. The 74-year-old man has been identified as Nicholas Marino of New Haven. Fox 61 New Haven County Bureau reporter Julia LeBlanc has more from East Haven if there actually has been an uptick in pedestrian-related deaths this year.
In the last week and a half alone here in Connecticut, 9 people have been struck by cars while crossing Connecticut streets, and 5 of those people have died. Now, it's a problem that police and local transportation officials say is getting worse in our state.
Motorists have a responsibility to stop if they think they, struck a pedestrian.
Captain Joseph Murgo says that's exactly what a driver did Wednesday night on North High Street in East Haven. He says that's when 74-year-old Nicholas Marino parked on the side of the road and was hit while crossing the street. He died at the scene. The driver who hit him has not been charged. It's the first time East Haven has seen a case like this all year.
But it does seem to be increasing across the region.
Within the last week and a half alone, 5 people have died after getting hit by cars on roadways in our state. The incidents range from Waterbury to Killingly and at different times of day.
So far to date in 2022, there's been 74 pedestrian fatalities, which is the most in Connecticut since the mid-1980s.
Josh Morgan says the Department of Transportation is working on solutions like adding crosswalks and updating crossing signals, but there are underlying problems at play.
The rates of speed are up across Connecticut. The rates of impaired driving and distracted driving are up.
Local police are tackling the trend too. In East Haven, they've created a traffic enforcement unit with other towns across the region.
The creation of the team was in response to citizen complaints, number one, but also crash data.
But they can't do this without your help.
I think we all just need to take it a little slower, right? It seems like everybody's in a rush these days.
Now, police say if you're walking on a street like this one, make sure that you're facing traffic and wearing bright colored clothing like this vest here. And for drivers, they say just slow down, put the distractions down, and be on the lookout for people crossing the road. We are in East Haven. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61 News.
An off-duty Wallingford police officer is facing charges after allegedly yelling at trick-or-treaters and chasing them down the street. Police say Lindsay Nesto yelled inappropriate and alarming language at 3 kids on Halloween. She's charged with breach of peace and has been placed on administrative duty while the investigation continues. Sikorsky Aircraft is challenging their loss of a $1.3 billion military contract with the U.S. Department of Defense. 3 weeks ago, we learned the Army awarded the Black Hawk replacement contract to Texas-based Bell. Sikorsky filed their formal protest of the decision this week. If the loss stands, it means the company will miss out on $50 million in new tax incentives from the state. Still, lawmakers say they're optimistic about the company's future and they're in support of this challenge.
The Army knows Sikorsky is, the best in the business.
We really wanted that contract, and it was an important contract. But that doesn't change the fact that Sikorsky is still a really, really important company here in the state.
Earlier this year, the state legislature approved $75 million in tax credits and incentives for Sikorsky. $50 million of that was contingent on the manufacturer winning this contract. There's some concern, though, that the loss of tax breaks could lead to layoffs inside the company. Sikorsky employs over 7,000 people in our state.
No, you do not get credit for this phase of the project. They didn't win it. Nothing will change imminently at Sikorsky in terms of, employment.
It's disappointing because we know what that contract would have meant. I think they picked an inferior product.
Well, meanwhile, 2 families are without a home after a massive fire in Manchester. Take a look at this shocking video. Firefighters battled that fire on Cedar Street this morning. Fire officials believe the fire started on the first floor, quickly rising to the top of the building. They say it was particularly tough to fight. Some firefighters were temporarily engulfed in smoke just to ventilate the roof.
That's a tough part of the job, but to be honest with you, ventilation's a key part of what we do. So opening the building, making the building behave, allowing those hot gases and the smoke that's trapped up there to get out allows our inside guys the ability to see and function and get to the seat of the fire. So it's a vital component of what we do.
Look at all that smoke. Some firefighters had minor injuries because of exhaustion, but they weren't taken to the hospital. State police are preparing to step up enforcement over the New Year holiday weekend. More officers will be on patrol beginning tomorrow with DUI checkpoints all across the state. Drivers are reminded to ditch the distractions and set up a designated driver or a safe ride. Last year, over the holiday weekend, state police made 36 DUI arrests and more than 200 crashes were reported, including 2 deaths. A New Year's tradition continues in Meriden. Today, a group of local organizations wear white and walk on the green. They're promoting safe driving, not just this weekend, but all year long. It's called the Whiteout Walk, involving the Meriden Healthy Youth Coalition and other groups. They all have the goal of raising awareness about the dangers of impaired driving.
I think the main message is to enjoy your weekend with friends and family, enjoy the festivities and celebrate, but do so safely and to plan ahead.
The CDC says 32 Americans are killed every day due to crashes involving an alcohol-impaired driver. That's one death every 45 minutes. In a bit of breaking news tonight, President Biden signs the $1.7 trillion omnibus spending bill into law. Now, that bill will fund the government through September 2023. It increases spending for domestic and Defense Department programs and roughly $45 billion in new aid for Ukraine and NATO allies.